Hi folks, welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Getting things ready for our big super meeting. It'll be big and beautiful. Big and beautiful meeting today. The biggest ever. It'll be the biggest and the greatest meeting ever. I mean, yeah, that's kind of what's going on. We're really excited. Based on the inquiries and feedback, I think we're gonna have a packed house. We've had that happen a couple of times where the building, there was no seating available. It was just kind of standing room only. But we're ready for that, and I think it's going to be pretty awesome because, you know, for years, those of you that's been awake, not woke, but awake for a long time, you know that one of the core central things is that they manipulate money. They created this fiat currency, and then it manipulates us. It's based in debt-based, and so it keeps us all in debt. And there's been talk for decades of how we need to get back to a different system, that we need to start doing alternative currencies, that we need to do community-based transactions and things like that, and that we need to get back to real money, gold and silver. That's really the core of it, what today is about. We're bringing in some experts that are going to talk about how businesses, because that's the key thing. Like, you can have, you know, alternative currencies or gold and silver or whatever, but if you can't use it at businesses, then, you know, I hear that. What's the point? You know, if I can't go down to my gas station or the local, you know, grocery store and use it or whatever, then what's the point? And so that's today's going to focus heavily on that, is business owners and how to, you know, teach business owners that this system is much smoother than you think. And this is all based on the fact that Missouri now has this amazing new law, and so what is happening today is a state tour, you know, that's been supported by the people that backed the bill, the lawmakers and all that. And so they're doing a state tour to teach Missourians how to do this, and this tour starts today this is the big kickoff. So anyways, I hope many of you can make it out. You know, when you look at all the things that's going on, and as you know, especially if you watch my channel even every once in a while, it's a lot. There's a lot of stuff. It's constantly happening. It's nasty, worse, you know, crazy, chaotic, and it's meant to be. But we have to not just prepare in a way of, you know, that kind of traditional, or I don't think that's the right word. It's almost like the commercialization of prepping. You know, oh, you got your freeze-dried food, you know, you've got some ammunition, you got some, you know, water filters. Those are good things to have. Honestly, those things is just what everyone should have. That's just normal, right? We need to be taking it to a much bigger level where we are building stronger communities, that we're focusing on a local level, that we're working on, you know, local economies, local currencies, gold and silver-backed currencies. We're working on, you know, local communications. We're localizing everything to where, you know, it's not just me as an island, you know, in my county or in my area being a prepper and being prepared. It's that I live amongst a community that is prepared. Even though we may not see things the same way, we may not, you know, have the same religious beliefs or anything like that. And the reason is this is how it's always been. You know, you go back 100 years ago, and that's just the way it was. You know, the communities were strong, and they pulled together, and they were able to survive most things. You know, if you took a community 150 years ago in America, anywhere, just about anywhere, and you cut them off from the outside, they would survive. They would figure out a way. They would make do because they'd pull together. And today, that's not the case. And so that's really a big part of what we're doing here. You know, the nonprofit that we formed and are now working very hand in hand with the county to teach preparedness and to you know, show people how to be ready for disasters and emergencies, and to respond to those disasters and emergencies. That's something that we're doing a lot. And I'm telling you, over the last 2 or 3 years of doing that, there's been lots of doors closed and doors opened, and we've taken different trajectories to get to the goal. But it's amazing. I was talking to my wife last night. I think it was 3.5, 4 years ago. I can't remember exactly the date, but 3.5 to 4 years ago, we had a talk about my long-term goals for this, kind of my vision. And it's not my vision, it's the Father's vision. He very clearly gave it to me. I know that for certain. And here we are 3-4 years later, and while at times it's gone down a different path, the overall goal that we had set those many years ago, we've met and exceeded many of them. I mean, we're like right on track. And I was talking to someone, a county official, the other day about this, and they were saying, it's clearly that God is blessing, what you're doing, that you are in His will because of the things that you've done. That not me, the things that you've done as an organization, as a group, as a nonprofit. And I was telling them how there's been so many doors closed, so many redirections, so much perseverance and stubbornness that was needed. And they said that's exactly how it is in life, that when the Father gives us a direction, tells us this is what we're supposed to do, and we have to figure it out. And a lot of times we want to do it our way, and we have to realize and submit and realize that it's His way that we have to do it. And so that's kind of been the thing. And the reason why I'm telling you all this, because some of you are probably sitting there thinking, okay, that's great, what's this have to do with anything? This is how life is, number one. You can take these lessons and apply them anywhere. But more importantly is that this is what we need to be doing. We have this, I think we have this Hollywood idea of what disaster and collapse is going to be, and I think that it's quite possible that was for purpose. If you, not to go deep into it, but if you do some history, this idea of this apocalyptic post whatever world really didn't exist in any type of literature, entertainment, or anything until about the mid to late 1970s. Kind of strange. It just was created out of nowhere. And so we have this idea that we're going to have to rough it and survive, and eat each other, and it'll be some desolate wasteland, and that we have to stay alone because no one can be trusted, and we can't form community. And I think that is wrong, and I think that is been drilled into our heads for a purpose. I think that we were created to be a communal people, to be together. It's very clear in Scripture that's how the Father wanted us. You look at the Hebrews, the tribe of Israel, and how that was set up. That was set up by God. He created that system. Later on is when they wanted a man to rule over them. So it's very clear that we're to work together and to have community, and that's really what we have to be building. And I know that so many of you, the vast majority of you, are going to say it's just not going to work here. I can't do it. I've tried. No one will listen, and I get that. And if you think that the things that we're doing right now happened because everyone just opened their arms and said, "Oh yes, let's hold hands and sing Kumbaya," you're wrong. The amount of hours and the amount of just work in every possible way, financial, physical, mental, everything, the amount of sweat and tears that have been poured into doing what we've been doing, not just by me, my wife, our children, as a family we've sacrificed. Many others also have been there with us. This is, and the end result is starting to form. And what I'm trying to tell you, this isn't a brag session. What I'm telling you is that it is possible, but it takes a lot of work and a lot of dedication. You're not going to make it happen just because you announce a little meeting at a library room. You have to get out there and earn people's trusts. You have to build relationships. You have to sift the wheat from the tares. It's a constant process, and it's hard. But I'm telling you, that is what we have to be doing. It's got to be way more than just this, beans and rice and ammo and buckets. We have to be building relationships with other people, building connections, strengthening our communities, making a tribe. Because I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot harder than you think. And if you don't have those things, it's going to get bad. It really is. It's going to get hard on you. You need to get your houses in order, folks. And start preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.